right, howdy folks, and welcome to QuizBowl Pro Online, and we are going to show you how to start and play a match. We'll talk about all the changes that you can make during a match in another video, but for this purpose, we're on the matches screen in your app, which is the first one that you see when you log on. And we've got a list of our matches here, and just a quick little reminder on how this works. These blue links get you into the match manager for that specific match. You can use the clipboard icon to get into the Excel scorecard that's being generated as we go. You can edit the match settings. You can also get rid of a match when you're done with it by clicking on the trash can icon, and it'll go away. So we're going to create a match here, and as we create this match, we're going to call this, we're going to give this a name. Showdown at the Game Show Corral. And when you click on your standard match settings, you can either select one of the ones that is already ready to go. So for example, if you are playing IESA format, you can just click on that and all the settings for IESA are ready to go. You don't have to make any changes to those settings at all if you don't want to. So I'm going to get my practices setting, the one that we created in the other video, and use that. And I got two teams here, and I'm going to go ahead and select those. We're going to get our game show hosts in, and today the game show hosts are going to take on some Western legends and see what happens here. So you see I've got all of my rosters ready to go, and if I wanted to replace a player, let's say I wanted to replace Steve with Kiki, I could do that just simply by clicking on Steve's name and bringing in Kiki to replace Steve in that particular roster. Now these devices are for our wireless buzzers. So typically when you distribute out the wireless buzzers, you start with the first player on the first team and give them player number 1 and just keep going in numerical order until you're out of team 1, and then go in numerical order starting with the first player on team 2 with the next buzzer, and just keep going. And that just kind of makes it a little bit easier for you to know where people are when you go to substitute them in and out. And then we've got our settings that have been brought up here. So when I clicked on the practices settings, all of those settings get put into this screen, and I could make changes if I wanted to. So let's say I wanted to make that change of the minimum ring-in time being 4 seconds. So I could make that change here if I wanted to. And now I'm ready to go, so I'm going to create this match, and here we are. Okay, so we've got this match in here, and I'm going to click on the blue link, and we're going to get into this particular screen. Now, I'm going to show you something really cool on how this works here for your players if they're using their own device to log in and play as a buzzer. Then you're going to want to give them this match ID right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to use it here in just a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the QuizBowl Systems website. You see our beautiful new website here, and we're going to click on Join a Match, and that's going to allow me to put in this particular code. And now when I sign in, I can select my team, and I can select my player, and I can enter the match. Now this is what the player sees on here, but what you see is going to be a little bit different. As the host, you're going to see this, and you see that Ty has joined the match now, and he's got a white background behind his name. So any player that's got a white background has joined the match with their wireless device and is ready to go. If you're using the wireless buzzers and playing live, you won't see this. It'll just be all gray background no matter what. The white indicates that they've joined from a remote location, or maybe even if that remote location is just across the room. And if you want to take somebody out of the match, you can just go ahead and click on the X there, and it removes them from the match. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to do a ring-in test once everybody's in. And then you're going to want to have everybody test their buzzers. Now let me show you what the player sees really quick. The player now sees this box here where they can ring in, and they can test their buzzer, and you see they're seeing a ring-in test. And hey, you're first. How about that? And back on the QuizBowl Pro Match Manager screen, what we're going to see here is Ty's buzzed in and he's highlighted in yellow, so you can end that ring-in test. Now, if they're not using wireless buzzers and you just want to play around with this yourself, you can just click on a name during the ring-in test, and you can see how that works just like that. You can either reset and try somebody else, or you can just exit out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove Ty from the match, even though I know he's still there, and maybe we're just using our wireless buzzers. Let's run through how we're going to play these questions real fast. And the first one that we're going to show is the toss-up question. So we'll click on Play Cue for a toss-up, and you see my round timer starting to run over here. I've got a ring-in timer, and I can change this to the extended time for computation just by clicking on that. You see it changed it for me, or I can just take it back to the original amount. So I've read the question, and I've read the question, and I'm going to start the ring-in timer, and then all of a sudden Bob rings in, and Bob's going to get this question wrong. So hopefully that'll reset our timer to 4 seconds here as we planned. Right on cue. Okay, so here comes Wanda. She's going to ring in. And you saw earlier and you see now that with every particular toss-up ring-in, all of these buttons pop up right away. If it's an undo, if it's a wrong buzz, or right or wrong. So we're going to say that Wanda got this right for 10 points. And now we're on to a bonus question right away, because that's how we got this set up. And the Western Legends get the first bonus question, and you play each part one at a time. Now, if you're not doing bounce back that's immediate, then you do it with a deliberation timer instead. And so we're going to start our answer timer here, and we're going to say that the Western Legends got the first part right, but they got the second part wrong. And with our settings, the game show host can now pick that up for steal. And we're going to say the Western Legends got the third one right, and there you go. So there's our first bonus question as well, and that's how that works. Pretty straightforward. If I wanted to play a team question, then I would have to select team. I'd have to play that question, and we've got our deliberation timer, and you can see it's up there, and we can just start that deliberation timer. And at the end of a team question, you can either let it run out, or you can end the deliberation early. And then you have an option to enter some scores here. So let's say the game show hosts got 20 points on that, but the Western Legends got 50. And now you see it automatically updates the score. So if you want to call a timeout, you can do so. Click on timeout, and it'll run one of these timers for you of your choosing. And we'll talk about some of the other features here in another video. But that's a pretty quick intro on how to do toss-up bonus and team questions here in QuizBowl Pro. And we'll see you in the next video.